really think you should.
What is up, my crew? The CL's here with another sort of video. Well, I don't really call it a video. I see it more as a podcast more than anything because you're just listening to what I have to say. And today, it's going to be a very interesting topic that is very, odd and possibly even hypocritical, especially if you've been following my Facebook page. If you haven't liked it, you should definitely like it because I really post there a lot about possible future videos and future, updates on stuff I've done and all that stuff. So if you don't know, I've been trying to bring as much of Kanto from the game Pokemon Fire Red into Pokemon Emerald. So far, I was able to map the main routes, the main towns, and the main areas like Viridian Forest, Seafoam Island, and Kanto's Victory Road. Now I'm in the process of making sure, the behavioral of each floor tile works and animations are within each map. But after, really looking into it, there's a problem, and this is a question that I found the answer to quite quickly, and the question is, can this project actually be completed, having a whole second region from one game into another game? I think it's time to be realistic, and I don't believe this will ever be finished yet, for two big reasons. A lack of a proper mapping tool, and a lack of free flags, quote-unquote. The first one is a lack of a proper mapping tool. This is a big reason why this project is somewhat impossible, and no one's ever done it completely yet and hasn't put it out yet. Do we have a mapping tool that is decent? Yes, and it's called Advanced Map V1.92. There is an updated version called Advanced Map V1.95, but I highly advise against using it because it's an unstable and a very buggy program that, if used for a prolonged period of time, it can and will destroy your ROM, which is something you did not want to do, especially if it's very far along, you don't have any backups. So we already have a decent mapping tool, so why is that a problem? Well, in the most recent years, in discovering some new thingies, a GBA ROM can utilize past the FFFFFF mark, which is basically meaning that the size of an Emerald Pokemon ROM, a GBA ROM, I think is about 16 megabytes, which is about a lot. It's a lot of space if you think about it, but the thing is that it's not enough. However, that could be expanded another about 777,000. Let me start again. So the thing is that there's a lot of space that can be utilized. It's about 16,777,260 more bytes of data for people to use. And it's pretty cool. And the cool thing is that modders and other hackers have made programs that can utilize this space efficiently, and that's what Advanced Map 195 did, except that it's broken. That's where the main problem of this lies, is that Advanced Map 192, a program that came out a very long time ago, it only utilizes offsets from 0 all the way to FFFFFF, which is, 16 megabytes. We want, 17 megabytes, 32 megabytes to utilize. Here's the thing. You want to insert a whole new region with its own separate maps, separate map tiles, palettes, connections, to, other maps, events, all those other goodies like items, scripts, overworld sprites. That space that's already in without expanding the ROM even more would not be able to handle it all. And to a certain extent, it would end up creating, a lackluster and barren region, especially since there won't be any real trainers to battle if there's a limited number of flags in the game. Which brings me to my next part. Now, what exactly is a flag? It's not like a flag where it's like something you wave in the air, like a, flag day or something, but it's something completely different from that. In C language, a flag is a variable that is supposed to signalize something. What does that mean, signalize something? Well, rather than explaining it, how about an example? Do you remember in, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, when you would go into Fort Town, you go into the house, and you would talk to that guy who made an item called the Silk Scarf, which is an item that boosts normal type moves. Once you choose that item, you think that talking to him again would get you another. That isn't going to happen, though, because when the conversation was happening, once the conversation ended, a flag has been set. It was signaling to the game, hey, the player got it, he can't get another one. That's what flags tend to do. And change something within the game. Do you remember playing one of the other games I made, Theta Emerald or Theta Emerald EX? There was a weird object blocking those Hooper portals, and they disappeared after you beat the game. That was a flag I set. That way people can't get legendaries so easily, as in, like, get like 3 gym badges. Next thing you know, you go and battle and try and get like a Dialga or Palkia. That's what flags are used for. It's a very useful tool to use. Not only that, but flags are also used to get items. They're also used to set up events and all that stuff. And flags are also used for trainer battles. That way you're not battling the same trainer over and over and over again. Now here's the thing. This is just a guess. I'm not entirely sure. But there are about, I think, 375 free flags available to be used in Emerald. That's a lot. But then you have what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to make a completely new Theta Emerald where it has the second region, and it also has 7th generation. You gotta understand I have to make new legendary events, more trainers, gym leaders, LA4, champions, items, maps, scripts, events, possibly even a new overworld set. There's not too many for me to use at that point, but there is a possibility though in extending the number of flags and other variables for safe use. There's even a thread discussing on how to extend the number of safe flags in the game. If someone were to figure that out, and porting that from Fire to Emerald, this would be extremely helpful and beneficial to not just, me and, a few people, but to a whole ROM hacking community. Hell, just for the heck of it, when I ever have the free time when I'm not doing schoolwork or stuff, I tend to, try to look into it. The thing that's really a big problem is that the resources are very scarce, and the flags are quite different between Fire and Emerald. Like, I'm just doing this off the top of my head, I'm not, looking at anything. I think the flags in Fire Red go from 8FF to 18FF. That's a problem because in Emerald, the flags go from, I think, 960 to whatever. So I have to only go up to 960. So we have to figure out some way to change that to another part. Not only that, but that's just a really big, crazy, a whole new thing that I never touched in my entire life. The only time I ever did anything involving changing the save the save data, because you literally have to go into the RAM of the ROM and change it, because if you don't, it's not gonna work, and if you try and do it and force it, the game's gonna break, and that's the last thing you want to do is break your game. So technically we just need to wait, or we need to contribute to this somehow. So technically it is possible to put in a whole entire second region into Emerald, just not yet. I'm trying to see if there's some sort of a source code where we can look at a completely new mapping tool where it does the same thing as Advanced Map, because I feel like that's one of the best mapping programs I've ever used to a certain extent. But I also want to use that, but with the ability for it to extend, past, instead of just using, only 16 megabytes of data, it can utilize the other 16 and making it, you can use the whole 32 megabytes of the ROM. Right now, it's not available yet, so either you just step back a little bit and, wait for someone to say, hey, this is how you do it, or you just contribute, which is actually something that I want to try and do, is I want to try and contribute to this, because I'll try and contribute to as much of it as I can, because this is a completely new and different areas of hacking that I'm used to, and let me tell you, it's not fun. It really isn't. And me being in school, it makes things a lot more difficult, because I'm trying to focus on my school, my studies, and all that stuff. And then the thing is that maybe once I graduate and I think about almost more than a month, I'm going to, when I have the free time, because I'm also going to be looking for careers and jobs and all that fun stuff, I'm going to be trying to look and see if I can find more info about this, because there's not much about this. I actually looked on the thread itself, and not many people have really divulged into trying to figure out how to put all this stuff in. Is it hard? Yeah, but we just need to really work together, because that's what we really need to do, is work together to make a completely new resource and something that is I don't know, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it, because when you're utilizing the save block within, well, utilizing the RAM within Emerald or any game. Well, Emerald specifically, because Emerald has been very, active when it comes to hacking, because there have been a lot of engines and whole resources being able to put in that also affect the RAM as well. So it's going to be kind of difficult trying to put everyone in, and, all the Kanto from Fire Red into Emerald. But you know what? Only time will tell, and, just keeping yourself patient and listening and understanding you're not, crazy. And you're just taking your time. I mean, I wonder how this is how, we were able to get, more Pokemon, more items, new items, Data Emerald, basically, all that fun stuff. But, so stay tuned into any, resources. Maybe if you have any, ideas on how someone could honestly do this, don't, sit back and be like, oh, this guy can figure it out. Be the one who could really step up and be considered a huge help to the ROM hacking community, because this is something we honestly need right now, because no one really knows how to do this yet. Well, you know how to, it's just we're kind of stuck, kind of. Same with, a mapping tool. We don't have that. If you have something that you want to contribute, please do. That's something we actually need, and that could be sort of like a stepping stone towards, towards a new, better mapping program, an efficient way to add free, extending the number of safe flags. That's something we honestly need right now. And that's about it for this video. There's not much to say about it. All I can say is just don't expect, Kanto and Emerald, which I might end up releasing as a resource, to be released anytime soon, because we don't have enough tools and resources to actually make it happen yet. I mean, the truth is, I honestly could just edit the behavioral bytes, edit the animations, do the connections, and do the warps. But the thing is, you can't put in sprites or anything because it doesn't exist yet. Alright, so all I can say is just be patient and, help out with this, because we don't know what we're doing sometimes. Alright, so make sure you like the video if you found any of this interesting. Be sure to comment on whether you have any sort of tips and, ideas on how any of this can be done. And if you want to comment on, I think what I'll do is I'll actually link the thread in the description below. That way, if you guys want to go check it out and try and figure it out yourself. But let me just tell you right now, it ain't easy. It ain't easy right now. I'll tell you that. And be sure to subscribe, because I'm going to be doing a lot more, podcasts, a lot of more WWE videos, and a lot more Pokemon stuff. So until next time, my crew, I will see you later.